Hello everyone and welcome to Big Rock Moto. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I just have two quick favors to ask of you. One, please subscribe if you're not already. And two, whenever you're shopping, please use my affiliate links. It really helps out. All right, so when I reviewed BMW's R1300RT, I declared that I thought it was probably the world's best touring bike because of its unique combination of relatively low weight, incredibly agile and sporty handling, and amazing comfort and good technology. So today, BMW have finally released all the specs, details, photos of the brand new, all new R1300RT. And I've spent all day today, this morning, poring over the press releases, the images, creating spreadsheets, and trying to distill down this information in a presentable way so I can tell you what's new and why it matters to you. Now it's interesting, if you type in R1300RT on YouTube, and this is true with a lot of new models or models that are coming out, you get a lot of AI generated videos that are just complete nonsense. They're fake images, they're fake information, they're just everything made up. I don't even know why YouTube allows this kind of false information to exist, but I guess that's the world we live in. Now, as for myself on this channel, I prefer to wait to do these sort of videos until we have the actual press release, the actual official information from the manufacturer, so that I can be a source of actual true information and not clickbait garbage. So let's talk through some of the different areas that have been updated on the RT, and I do want to emphasize the motorcycle is brand new from the ground up. Everything is new. Well, when I say everything, I'm sure there's small parts that carry over, maybe the footrest or the clutch lever, and I think the TFT dash is still the same, and we'll get to that. But let's start with design and ergonomics. So obviously it's a completely new design. BMW says it's more dynamic and visually lighter. I actually am really impressed with the new design. While I don't really find the GS styling on the new GS 1300 very attractive, and especially the GS Adventure, for some reason, what they did here with the RT really works for me personally, but let me know what you think about the new styling. So what they've done also with the side fairings, I think this is really a good idea, and we've seen it on other motorcycles before, and I really appreciate this. So you have adjustable side trim or side fairings. So what you can do is you can adjust the side fairings on the RT to either direct air towards you if you want more cooling airflow, maybe warmer temperatures or riding at lower speeds. You can also then adjust it so the air goes out around you if it's colder or wetter weather or higher speeds. I really like this. So BMW have also made some pretty significant changes to the ergonomics, and fingers crossed it's still as comfortable as the old bike was. I hope so, but we'll have to wait and see. So what they've done is the rider sits further forward. BMW says this enhances feedback and control for spirited, sporty riding. But they claim it still allows for relaxed touring, so we'll see about that. So you can adjust the seat, you can adjust the handlebars, which is interesting. I don't know, I'm curious to see what the adjustable handlebar is like. They also say that passenger comfort is notably improved, so they have a longer passenger seat and more legroom and more clearance between the passenger's legs and the side panniers, and that's a nice improvement there for the passengers. In terms of the luggage system that you get with the RT, so you have some different options now. So you get standard 27-liter lockable electrified, meaning central locking side cases. That's going to come standard. Then if you want, optionally, you can get expandable side cases. BMW sometimes calls these Vario cases, as we've seen with other bikes. Those cases, which are an option, extra cost, you can expand from 27 up to 33 liters. And these have central locking and interior lighting as well. Now, on your top case, which is very popular with the RT, you can get two choices. You have a 39-liter or a 54-liter. And the larger one, you can get a heated passenger backrest, so your passenger's back is nice and warm. All right, let's get into the engine and transmission. So, of course, we have the new 1300cc engine that we saw roll out, what has it been now, at least a year, on the R1300 GS and GS Adventure. So it's the most powerful boxer production engine ever. It's 145 horsepower, it's 149 newton meters of torque, and I'll put the foot-pounds here below. So higher revving, freer revving, sportier, faster. We know that from having tested and reviewed bikes like the 1300 GS, so that's going to be a good thing. Also, I can tell you that the shifting is much better with the new engine and transmission versus the outgoing R1250. So in terms of riding modes you get with you're going to have, BMW loves to do optional equipment and packages. You're going to have the standard bike, which probably nobody will buy because everybody's probably going to get the Pro or premium package, however they're going to market that in different markets around the world, different countries. If you get the Pro package or Premium package, you're going to get an additional riding modes of Dynamic and Dynamic Pro, in addition to the standard Rain, Road, and Eco riding modes. And the riding modes are tied to your throttle response, your suspension settings, all sorts of things like that. Now, importantly, we have to talk about the transmission. So first of all, it is a new transmission, just like the 1300 GS. That goes together with the new engine. So shifting is going to be improved, quick shifting is going to be improved, and all that. Very importantly though, now you can get BMW's ASA, or Automatic Shift Assistant. The ASA system, it's a system that does away with the clutch lever and allows you to either shift with a traditional foot shifter or go into automatic mode and the bike will shift for you. Now, a lot of people are skeptical of these systems, but I will tell you, I'm a real big fan of Honda's DCT, or dual clutch transmission. I've also tested the ASA system on a 1300 GS Adventure, and those videos are coming out in the next couple months as I get my actual press bike for the 1300 GSA. I've been waiting for that. But the ASA, I was super impressed with it. The shifts were very, very good. You had different modes to configure how you wanted it to shift, more aggressively or less aggressively. The takeoff from a stop and riding around parking lots was incredibly smooth and controllable. And I think that this is going to be a very good option. And when I get my 1300 RT, which I'll talk about at the end of this video, I am ordering one and I am getting the ASA for myself. I'll talk about why that is. So you get the choice of automatic or manual shifting if you go with that ASA. Now, you don't have to get the ASA. So I don't know why some riders are upset or somehow thinking that manufacturers are forcing you to get the automatic. That's not the case. Most people are still going to get the traditional transmission, but I think the option is really, really good. Let's talk about the chassis and the suspension. Major updates here. So of course, like we saw with the GS, we have the new frame. They've gone away from the trellis frame and they have what they call like a steel sheet frame, or a sheet steel frame, which is kind of a interesting choice of words, but it's like a one piece. It's more rigid, it's stronger, I guess it's lighter, improves handling and stability and all those sorts of things. Although it doesn't look as good, and I think that's definitely the case. Now, the suspension is also the new Evo tail lever and Evo pair lever. So better steering precision, better ride stability, better ride feel from the front tire, which has been an issue with tail lever bikes, so that's good. Also, they made the wheels lighter. That's really, really nice to see that. 1.4 kilograms lighter. What is that in pounds? Like 3.5 or 4 pounds? That's a significant reduction in wheel weight. When you make the wheels lighter, you improve the handling of the motorcycle dramatically. So I really like that. Braking will be better, acceleration will be better. So lightweight wheels, 2 thumbs up from me. Now, standard, you get dynamic ESA, which we're familiar with. You have dynamic damping, you have load-dependent rear preload, which automatically senses the load, passenger luggage, and compensates everything for that, plus the different damping modes you can select from the handlebar. That stuff is carrying over, although it is the new Evo system. Now, very important that I want to call this out. BMW has something they're calling dynamic chassis adaptation or adaptation. I think there's some translation issues there, but so this goes a lot further than dynamic ESA. What you can do is choose between different riding modes, they're calling it, in the suspension. So 2 different ride heights. This is going to be a little bit confusing, so let me try to back up and simplify this. With the dynamic chassis adaptation, that's really a tongue twister. You have one mode that's for touring and comfort, which lowers the rear of the bike relative to the front and makes the bike more stable and more relaxed. Then in the dynamic or dynamic pro modes, what the bike will do, if you get this optional DCA system, is it will raise the rear of the bike relative to the front, making your steering rake angle and your steering geometry sharper and more agile for sportier handling. That's really, really smart. That's absolutely brilliant. Why haven't more manufacturers done that? So they are playing with the suspension height there and the suspension to change the handling of the bike depending on the riding mode. This makes a lot of sense. What this also does is it will lower the bike slightly when you're stopped, and as you're riding above 20 kilometers an hour, the bike will raise up into whatever position it needs to be in depending on what mode you're in. I'm really looking forward to testing this. I think this is a very, very good idea. Let's talk about braking. So you still get, great brakes, ABS Pro, all that stuff. You get optional sport brakes, which is just a slightly upgraded caliper, but if it's like the GS, it's still made by Brembo and it looks a little bit different. Now, some riding aids that come into the braking. You get dynamic cruise control with braking. You get optional riding assistance suite, which includes, now we're getting into the rider aids, but active cruise control, which we did have on the outgoing R1300RT, which I really liked. But what they've added is a rear radar as well now. So the 1250RT had no rear radar, the 1300 adds that. So in addition to, they've added the front collision warning there into the front radar system, just like the GS has. You also have lane change warning, or what I call like blind spot monitoring in my language. You also have RACW, or rear end collision warning, which will warn you if the bike thinks there's a vehicle that's going to crash into you from the back. So that's a nice thing to have. And you can turn those systems off, and again, these systems are optional. So getting into customization and equipment and colors, there are, I believe, 4 colors going to be available at the launch. So there's going to be the white, there's going to be triple black, there's going to be racing blue, and then there's going to be what they call the exclusive option 719. I can't even say this word, Camargue. I don't know what that is. I think that's a typo here on my presentation, but Blue Ridge Mountain Metallic. So if you get option 719, which gives you all the fancy billet aluminum parts, you get Blue Ridge Mountain Metallic, which is obviously superior to Racing Blue Metallic, which is just for peasants. So anyway, I'll probably get the poor person color, the Racing Blue Metallic. I don't need the option 719. Now, in terms of customization, you can also get different seats. BMW has always been very, very good with that, so that's nice that they're carrying that over. Now, I put together a little spreadsheet here, as I always do, so to compare the R1250RT to the R1300RT, just so you can see for visual learners and to help you understand the differences between the bikes. So looking here at this, and I'll put this on the screen, larger engine, more power, more torque. The weight. Now, the press release, I did dig and I did find the weight. They didn't really talk about this. It gained about 4 pounds, or about 2 or 3 kilograms. Not a big deal. That's not really even honestly even a measurable difference. That's such a small difference. So that's good to see. Obviously different frame, going from the tubular steel frame to the pressed sheet steel, as they call it. Fuel capacity has gone down slightly from 25 liters to 24 liters, or 6.6 to 6.3 gallons. Probably not a significant difference, because the 1300 engine does give better fuel economy. So I imagine our riding range is going to be very, very similar. Suspension, of course, we talked about the differences there. Now you have Evo tail lever, Evo power lever, you have dynamic chassis adaptation, just the adjustable steering geometry, and the different ride modes, which I think is 2 big thumbs up. I'm really looking forward to trying that. The transmission, again, it's all new, but you can get now the option of regular shifting or ASA if you want. The rider aids we've added in, we carried over adaptive cruise and all the ABS and traction control, MSR, all the stuff that BMWs have. But now we've added the collision and the lane warning, the blind spot monitoring, and the rear collision warning as well. The ergonomics, are a little bit different. They've said they've moved the riding position forward for better weight into the front tire, better traction and handling, smaller inner leg curve, more seat options. So I'm interested to try that out. There's a lot of variables there in bike ergonomics, but I'm interested to see how this works out in the real world. We'll have to wait till we really ride it. The lighting obviously is different now, and I didn't mention this, I don't think, up above. But what they've done is they've improved. If you get the Headlight Pro, which most people probably will, because it's all about the options with BMW, you get the previous BMWs with adaptive lighting. They did adapt for curves, going around curves and things like that. But now they've taken it to the next level. So the new Adaptive Pro headlight is speed dependent. And I think this is only going to be available in certain markets, because like here in the USA, our headlight regulations are different than in Europe. But you will get, it detects the pitch of the bike when you're accelerating and braking and adjusts for that. It adjusts around corners. It adjusts depending on how fast you're going. So they've really taken that to the next level in terms of the adaptive headlight, and I'm curious to see how that works out. As it was, the 1250RT with the standard adaptive lights was already one of the best headlights of any motorcycle I've ever tested. So I'm curious to see how much better it can really be. And then again, with the luggage, we've added the optional variable side cases, and we've added 2 different kinds of top cases as well. So what are the highlights for me? What are the things that I'm really looking forward to, that I'm most excited about with the new RT? And you can tell I'm generally pretty positive with this new bike. I think they've made really useful upgrades that make sense for the average kind of person that buys an RT and is looking for that premium sport touring experience. So for me, the available ASA automatic shift assistance, 2 thumbs up, and I'm going to be getting that on my RT because I've already tested it and I love it on the GS Adventure. The variable wind flow with the new adjustable fairings, I think that's 2 thumbs up. I really like that idea because sometimes you feel hot and stuffy, you want the airflow, sometimes you don't. So in addition to the electric windshield, which of course it still has, like before, but now you have adjustable side wind flow as well. The new suspension system, I already know how much better it is from testing the 1300 GS. The adjustable geometry with the different riding modes, that's great. Lighter wheels, substantially lighter, that's going to improve handling. The improved lighting, the addition of the blind spot warning, or the, what do they call it? What does BMW call it anyway? But you know what I'm talking about. I think that's good technology. I like having that. I'm somebody who likes technology and appreciates how it makes for a better ride instead of some people who somehow, for some reason, think it makes things worse, which I don't agree with. What are the things I think they kind of missed the mark on? Well, we don't know about the comfort. I mean, I think comfort's super important with these bikes. Like when we looked at the 1300 GS, the seat comfort was reduced a lot compared to the outgoing 1250, which was kind of disappointing. So I'm curious, I hope that it's as comfortable or more comfortable than a 1250 RT, which is of course subjective, but I'm hopeful, but I'm cautious about that. And then again, I think, and this is not just BMW, but all motorcycle OEMs, why don't you just, except Honda, which already does this, why don't you just give us Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in the dashboard? Stop trying to make your own proprietary navigation or infotainment systems. They don't work very well. They're clunky. They disconnect. The software is super out of date compared to what you get on your phone. I just don't like the direction they're going. Plus, I think we probably, for this amount of money that this bike's going to cost, we probably should have gotten like a new TFT design, and it looks from the photos and videos like it's the carryover TFT from the outgoing bike, which is okay because it's a great screen, but I don't know, I feel like maybe we could have seen an update there. All right, so I was literally in the middle of editing this video together for you today, and then BMW releases the pricing online configurator for the R1300RT here in the United States. So since we're doing this video, we got to talk about the pricing, right? Now, BMW pricing can be extremely confusing and often a bit misleading, as they'll advertise a low base price, but then the options will just kill you with all the add-ons. So let's take a look here at the configurator. So the MSRP of the base bike is $23,190. However, that doesn't come with almost any of the sort of special features and equipment that I talked about in this whole video. So it'd be a very stripped down RT. But I guess in theory, you could get that for $23,000. How many of those bikes are going to actually go to dealers? I would suspect none or very little unless you special ordered it. Now we start looking at the option packages here that you have. So you've got Style Option 719, you've got Option 719 package, you've got Triple Black package, Alpine White package, and Impulse package. So what it appears that BMW Motorrad is doing is they're packaging together the different color options with all the extra added equipment that you would expect to have. So like if I look at what I want to get the Impulse Blue for myself. So if I click on that, it says select my options, forged or tubular handlebars. That's interesting that we have that choice there. It comes with the color, comes with audio system, dark chrome headers, design silence option or optional silencer, radio software, different wheels, LED fog lights, headlight pro, slipstream defector, riding assistant, which is all the riding assist aids that we talked about. So if I select that, then, oh no, I need to select it. Come on, here we go, add that. Now I'm up to, and then it says, okay, this will be added dynamic package. All right, that's fine. Now I'm at, oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy expensive. $31,880 for the blue bike, which basically comes fully loaded. So if I go to next step, let's see, I can get the comfort passenger package. Let's see what that is. Comfort passenger seat, top case carrier. Oh, it comes with the top case. I see. So if you get the comfort passenger package, it comes with the top case and all that stuff. So I think I do want that. So let's add that. Now I'm at $33,225. I may not be getting an R1300RT after all. Sorry. I don't. Oh my God, it is beautiful though in this blue. I really do like this a lot. Wow, that is getting up there. 33 grand. Okay. Show summary. So yeah, that looks like my, if I get that top case thing, that's going to be about 33 grand or about 31 grand or so without that. Ooh, That's a lot. No, let me know what you think about the pricing. It does seem to be quite a bit of an increase over the 1250 RT, which I guess I did expect due to inflation in the world with currency and also all the extra stuff we have here. But I don't know. We're getting pretty up there in terms of the pricing. Let me know what you think about it. Now, I talked about why I'm probably going to buy one. So I am planning to put a deposit on the new RT, and here's my reasoning for that. One, I think it'll be a good bike to have on the channel for making some long-term reviews with. Two, I've been in the market for a long-distance sport touring bike for a few months now. I'm thinking of replacing my 1250 GS with a sport touring bike because I bought an Aprilia Touareg recently for my adventure bike. So I've got my adventure bike, I have my small dirt bike, my 350 KTM, which is a dual sport, and then to replace my GS, I think I want to get, I'm sure, actually, I've thought this through a lot, I want to get a touring bike to replace the GS because I've got the adventure bike and the Touareg. So I was going to get a 1250 RT. I came super close to buying one because there were really good deals on the last ones out there. But I was like, I don't know, with the new 1300 coming out, I might want to wait for that. The Goldwing is also an option for me. The thing with the Goldwing is I love that bike, but it's a bit heavy and it doesn't have the option of radar or adaptive cruise control, and that's kind of maybe a deal breaker for me. Now with the RT, I liked that you got the adaptive cruise control. I liked the lighter weight versus the Goldwing, but it didn't have the option for an automatic transmission. Well, now it does. So I think this new RT answers all of my sort of desires in a sport touring bike. So I'm planning to buy one and it will replace my GS. At least that's my plan right now. Of course, things could change, so stay tuned for that. All right, well, I'm sure I missed some things about the new 1300 RT. I'm pretty excited about it. I like what I'm seeing here, but let me know your thoughts. Maybe you hate the styling, maybe you think the features, we don't need that stuff, or who knows what your speculation is, but I'd be happy to hear your thoughts down below. Besides that, thanks for watching, ride safe, and I'll see you out there.